So, this is me, Kendall Hughes, reporting live from MSU. No, I'm just kidding. This is the Literacy Learner assignment for TE 302, and I am going to tell you a little something about my oh-so-wonderful focal student with pictures of Waverly Middle School, the library where we spent our time together, and pictures of the work that he has done throughout the semester. My student is a 7th grader at Waverly Middle School, which is the lovely building that I am walking up to right now on the screen. He does not enjoy reading all that much outside of school because, in his opinion, movies are quicker. He informed me that the only reading that he does outside of school is social media, especially Facebook and Instagram. These social medias that he partakes in are some literary experiences that he brings to our weekly meetings. As for writing, my student does not take part in much of the writing outside of school. He writes posts on social media every few days that his friends read and can like and comment on as they see fit. The only sharing of his writing that occurs is when his friends read his posts on Facebook or Instagram. My student does not seem to read and write all that often outside of school, other than on social media. However, the most important person in his life does use reading and writing often, his mother. However, he did inform me that the reading was not a major part of her job, yet it was apparent that she needed to be able to read and write pretty well in order to hold her position. In this way, his home context seemed to influence him to want to do better in school in order to make his mother proud. It is important to know what inspires and motivates students, and once I knew my focal student's inspiration to do well in school, I think it made it easier to connect with him and help him along his literacy journey. When it comes to his reading in school, my student informed me that he often runs into unfamiliar words, and when he comes into contact with these, he tries to sound them out. He said that he will ask students around him, but if they do not know, he will move on and not worry about learning the word. Admittedly, he says that he does not ask most of the time because he does not want to appear behind his peers. If the situation calls for it, he will ask the teacher for clarification. However, he prefers to ask his peers for help. Among all of his classes in the 7th grade, English is his hardest class and contains the most difficult text for him to read. He cited having to define vocabulary words as a struggle for himself in his English class, and he noted that he has a hard time understanding the definitions of words. Oddly enough, the class that has the most enjoyable text in it is his Reading 180 class. He said that he liked the class and the readings in it mainly because it is quiet in the room and because they all just come in and sit down and read. My focal student also noted that he loves his Reading 180 class and enjoys doing the work in it because he gets to go at his own pace as long as he finishes everything by the end of the year. When asked about his writing skills, the only thing that he had to say was that his handwriting was not good. It seemed that he thought that his lack of good penmanship is a hindrance on all of the writing he ever produces, regardless of the form that it takes. According to my focal student, he is not a talented reader. He thinks this because he does not often remember what he read or what had been read in the past, especially when it comes to novels. However, I think that he is actually a pretty great reader. He is very good at sounding out words when he gets to one that he doesn't recognize. This only happens once every page or two when we are reading The Maze Runner during our weekly time together. So, after spending around 8 hours with my focal student, I have learned a lot about him. I started out after day 1 knowing that he would be needing my help in improving his overall language comprehension. Following the first few weeks, I noticed that my student was not equipped with a high vocabulary. He stumbled over 2 to 5 words per page of The Maze Runner when he would read out loud, and he would often switch words around with other words that looked similar, like started and stated. I would correct him as I saw fit, and he got progressively better at reading the text, including the unknown vocabulary words, over the course of the semester. We worked on his vocabulary skills by filling out sticky notes containing the definition that we derived through context clues. Another area that he struggled in was his strategic knowledge when it came to really comprehending and remembering what he was reading. In order to combat this, I had him give me 1 or 2 sentence summaries of what had happened in the chapter that we had just read. It was apparent throughout the course of the semester that my focal student was constantly struggling with this. So, I switched up my strategy by having him fill out a double entry journal where he was able to pick out key details of chapters. This strategy seemed to work and he remembered more each week. I also had him draw pictures of what he thought a Griever looked like on day 2, and then he drew another one a few weeks later, and it was so cool to see the difference between the two as his understanding of what a Griever was developed. We also utilized a somebody wanted but so chart that he ended up really liking and asking if we could do it again. These instructional strategies aided in his overall reading comprehension. This was made obvious to me through how he could better remember events in the text and was able to more easily pick out the main ideas of a text without me having to ask him to do so. Keeping these comprehension strategies in mind, I think that my student learned a few different ways to go about remembering novels that he reads. All of these strategies he can do on his own, and he has told me that he really thinks that he will use a somebody wanted but so chart the next time he gets lost in a text, which makes me feel like I earned a gold star on the teacher's scale. Yes, I was a teacher in the room. However, I came into so much new knowledge because of my focal student. Starting out with 2 students for the first 5 weeks, I learned how to be flexible and work with different abilities and personalities. I learned that some days it is just not going to go as planned and that is completely fine, but on all days, someone will learn something and those light bulbs will turn on. My student taught me countless things about many topics that I did not even know existed, and I felt like I learned so much from him, and I hope that he learned a thing or two from me. If I was able to go into the next semester and keep working with my literacy learner, I would probably read the next book in the Maze Runner series with him. No, I'm just kidding. I do not know what we would read, but I would probably work with him to pick it out. I would then build on all of the strategies that we had worked on this semester and improve his confidence in using them. I would try to find more strategies to help him better remember texts that he reads and to make more in-depth analyses of the texts that he reads. I feel like we just brushed the surface of what we could accomplish together and what he could accomplish on his own. I am sad that my time with him is coming to an end in just a few short weeks. I had a great time, though, and if this is anything close to what the future holds with a career in teaching, I can't wait.